Hello everybody, welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. The 1970s reggae scene in Great Britain was spectacular to say the least. Just 2 decades after the first wave of the Windrush generation had settled in that country and brought their musical culture with them, the sound system scene was blazing hot and a magnificent slew of reggae bands began to spring up in London and Birmingham, and these included the likes of Aswad, Steel Pulse, and the subject of today's video in the phenomenal Black Slate. Simply overflowing with talent in every department, this amazing lineup wasn't just among the first UK reggae groups, but among the original pioneers who put Britain's reggae sound on the global map. These children of Caribbean immigrants would draw heavy inspiration from their own gritty experiences right in the heart of inner city London to create timeless fundamental music that continues to stand the test of time. Unlike these days, when lots of artists jump into the music for fame or riches, Black Slate chose music as a vehicle to express everything going wrong in their communities. Not for respect to Aswad, Steel Pulse or Matumbi, but these cats not only came out before them, but were in my opinion the prototype of a quintessential British reggae act. Driven by their Rastafarian faith, they would put out legendary material, including one of the greatest Rastafarian anthems of reggae's golden era in the all-time classic, Amigo. But as the 1970s gave way to the 80s, the musical trends began to change as dancehall started to assert itself as the dominant sound. And this conscious band would be forced to take a break that instead of a few months would last for almost 20 years. Let's take a look at the story of Black Slate and what happened after their smash hit Amigo. Now this tale begins in Hackney, East London in 1972 with 3 music-loving teenagers of Caribbean descent in keyboardist Anthony Brightly, guitarist Chris Hansen, and drummer Desmond Mahoney. By their mid-teens, this trio were part of a local group called the Mistron 5, which was named after a combo of the Jackson 5 and a children's sci-fi series called Captain Scarlet and the Misterons. Anthony Brightly had a musical background, as his father George Brightly owned a popular sound system, while Chris Hansen was a qualified and trained electrician with a passion for reggae music. While Des Mahoney had first become a local superstar as a dancer around sound systems long before he took up the drums. The trio broke away to do their own thing and added guitarist Cledwyn Rogers and bassist Elroy Ras Bailey and formed a group called Young Ones from Zion, and one of their first gigs was as the backing band for a local talent contest sometime around 1973. They were a very tight unit and their fame grew quickly all over England to the point that promoters began to hire them to serve as backing bands to Jamaican superstars like Dennis Brown, Ken Booth or Owen Gray whenever they were on tour of Britain. In 1976, they would add singer Keith Drummond and they would change the name of that group to Black Slate to signify their mission of using music as a slate to write their messages on. That same year, they were inspired by an epidemic of robberies in their neighborhood to put together a song called Sticks Man, a brilliant anti-mugging anthem that upon release quickly blew its way into the UK reggae charts, plus top 40 in the Dutch singles charts and also a minor hit in Belgium before the end of that year. Keith Drummond's passionate, piercing vocals seemed to be the final piece in the puzzle, and their popularity would skyrocket as they embarked on their first tour of Europe in 1978 and became underground legends across the continent. They formed their own label, TCD Records, and released their next single, Mind Your Motion, a roots masterpiece, which I can't play due to copyright restrictions, but an amazing song that balances a soaring message with a phenomenal rhythm that is a masterclass in golden era reggae instrumentals. And when they played this song while on tour of Europe in 1979, it drove audiences wild with ecstasy at venues in Finland and Germany in particular, and also became a huge underground hit. In between touring with superstar Jamaican artists like Peter Tosh and Dennis Brown, plus performing their own hits on the road, they also became very valuable as studio session instrumentalists on the UK's lovers rock scene, providing the backing instrumentals for singers like Janet Kay, Jean Adebambo, and Carol Thompson in that period. They were soon signed up by Ensign Records in early 1980 and went into the studio to record a track called Amigo. This song is on my list of the top 10 UK reggae songs of all time, an absolutely infectious masterpiece that is the perfect storm of a beautiful uplifting melody, sublime instrumentation and lyrics which amount to the ultimate Rastafarian rallying cry that gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. And don't even get me started on Keith Drummond's superb once-in-a-lifetime vocal performance. When the song hit record shelves in the middle of 1980, it became a runaway success that blew its way into the UK's pop singles charts and peaked at number 9. In honor of the band's chart success, they were invited to perform it on the iconic BBC Music TV show Top of the Pops in September in that year, and were one of the first UK reggae acts to make an appearance on that stage. The band released their debut album, also called Amigo, before the end of that year. It contained the single Boom Boom, which also became a hit. And the next year, they unleashed their brilliant dub album, Ogima, which is Amigo spelled backwards. A critical smash, though a mild one commercially. By then, dancehall was beginning to resonate very loudly with the younger generation, and their music, though still very tight, began to do lower numbers sales-wise. They released further albums like Sirens in the City, Rasta Festival, and the self-titled Black Slate between 1981 and 1985, all to strong critical acclaim but very far from satisfactory commercial numbers. By 1985, they were all family men with responsibilities, and with their income becoming less and less stable, they had a meeting where they all agreed to take a break for a little while to build careers outside of music. So despite a sold-out tour of New Zealand in that year, the wonderful band Black Slate would embark on official hiatus. Anthony Brightly took over his father's sound system and over time remodeled it as a record label called Pure Silk that did very well into the 1990s. Chris Hansen went on to run a very successful vinyl distribution business, while Des Mahoney's insane drumming skills saw him become one of the UK's most sought-after session drummers and percussionists. So alongside his businesses outside music, he would contribute to countless songs from behind the scenes over the years, while Keith Drummond would pursue a solo career in music, as would Elroy Ras Bailey. But instead of a year or two as they had planned, their break lasted for 19 years until they finally reunited in 2014 to record the album Now and Then, though without their vocalist Keith Drummond. They would record 3 more albums over the years and have been playing non-stop at numerous reggae festivals all over the globe. But sadly, vocalist Keith Drummond passed away this year in September 2025 after a brief illness. Today, the legendary Black Slate is still active and turning out music every now and then, and are still making headlines on the touring circuit, with a new frontman and lead vocalist in Gavin Creary, who is an awesome replacement for Drummond and is also Anthony Brightly's son. To me, this awesome band represents the UK's awesome reggae scene of the golden era in the 70s, and will always be, in my opinion, the quintessential British reggae group. Radical, timeless, and ridiculously talented. And while they may not have matched the commercial success of say an Aswad or Steel Pulse, they definitely helped to pave the way for what became the powerful movement. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, God bless.